Hi, welcome to Convos to Connect. I'm your host, Dorothy Kamak. This blogcast is a space to discover peace in the present through the connecting power of conversations. On today's episode, I am so excited to introduce you to Carrie Severson. Carrie and I actually first connected through a conversation in the Austin airport. So she is actually the epitome of Convos to Connect. And just in our short conversation, I gained so much wisdom and insight into the journey that I'm on, and I'm now sharing with you guys that I knew I had to have Carrie on the program. Carrie is actually the founder of a nonprofit called Severson Sisters. They are an empowerment organization for girls. They're headquartered in Phoenix, but their programs are throughout the United States. Their mission is to inspire girls to live their life as their authentic, awesome super self, which I love because all of the girls are super girls. And Carrie's organization works in middle schools across the United States, which you guys know, middle school is a lot of unsettledness. So she gives them tools and creative skills that they can learn and apply in middle school that you and I can learn today. So Carrie has a lot of awards and accolades to her name. She is out there making a difference. But really why I want her to talk to you guys today is she understands the chaotic world that we live in. She understands that life is a process, but peace is available today. So enough with the introduction. Let's get to the conversation. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Convos to Connect. I am super excited. As you can see, I am joined by my friend Carrie. And Carrie is, in one word, awesome. And she is a super girl. And I really wanted to have her on today's episode because she speaks to a lot of the journey I'm on, and she has walked it herself, and she is a girl who is finding peace in the present. And so yeah, let's talk to Carrie. Hey Carrie, how are you?
Thank you. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I am good. So you're out in California tonight?
I am. I'm in Newport Beach, I guess, or I float between Newport Beach and Fountain Valley. So Anaheim, really.
Okay. So Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've already been to Disneyland. I've already been to the beach, and then I'm with a friend of mine who owns a business, and an entrepreneur, and I came out here to help her with some brand development work. Her business is in transition, so this is perfect timing.
Awesome.
Chaos. Finding peace in the chaos.
Yes, that is what we are all about. So, yeah. Carrie, just to let everyone know a little bit about you, what kind of is your story? Tell everybody what you do and kind of like how you came to your job now.
Okay. Well, I'm an entrepreneur, but I call myself an empowerment guru. So my passion in life is really like self-discovery. I love figuring out myself at a deeper level and then helping others do the same. And I have a background, and I'm also super crafty and creative. Yeah. So I have a background in writing and a background in marketing and brand development. And one day in 2009, I was working for an ad agency, and I was really, frustrated because I wanted to do something more with my life, but I just didn't know what.
Yeah.
So I came home one day, and I journal, and so I wrote, what am I supposed to do with my life at the top of a journal page, and just sort of waited for answers. That process took a number of months, and the next question was like, what am I passionate about? Mm-hmm. And that question took a couple months too. And then one day I heard intuitively that my passions have to do with sisterhoods and self-esteem and self-discovery and creative arts, and I can easily create something for girls growing up today to connect better to the other girls. So I spent all of 2010 in research and development, and I launched a nonprofit headquartered out of Arizona called Severson Sisters. And our mission is to inspire girls live authentically as their super self. And we do that through a program we created called Supergirl, which is an after-school program sold nationwide that focuses on things like bullying and self-esteem and healthy relationships, peer pressure, competition, body image, and acceptance. So we really encompass every major life skill that you need to know throughout life, and we implement it at a middle school level to help girls kind of figure out adolescence.
Which is just like the perfect, did you know, when you were creating it, that middle school was your target, audience?
The research shows that middle school is, it's really like a battlefield of sorts, because you're dealing with, you're dealing with all of these emotional uncertainties of where you fit from a hierarchy perspective. Right. So kids are constantly trying to understand themselves. And then you add in some hormones into that and the stress of just trying to figure it out. So research shows that bullying happens at its peak 6th through 8th grade. Yeah. So we want to be at the foundational level where girls specifically could absorb what we're trying to teach them and adjust accordingly.
Yeah, because middle school, I'm still scared of middle schoolers. I see them coming and I'm like, that is a frightening group of people,
I had that first reaction too when we launched in 2011 as a pilot program, and then we immediately moved into schools in August. And I remember the first time I had to walk into a middle school cafeteria, I was like, oh my Lanta, this is where the shenanigans go on. Yeah. So it was good for the first 3 years. We were like in the ground, in the trenches with them ourselves, implementing programs. And nonprofit work is incredibly difficult. It's rewarding, but it is really challenging. Financially, there's running a nonprofit is really different because it's basically owned and operated by a board of directors, and so you're constantly juggling a governance piece with a program piece, and I was in the middle of it. And so come 2013, I was broke. My health had taken a backseat to the business. Yeah. I hadn't, been on a date in like 3 years because I had no time for it.
You were like focused on this.
Yes. My head was down. I was full speed ahead. And we were in the spotlight because First Lady of America claimed bullying as her platform, and then First Lady of Phoenix claimed bullying as her platform. So we were there in the trenches with everybody else. And so as a young nonprofit, we ran so fast and we did so much. Finally, in 2013, I just sort of accepted the fact that I was burnt out and I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. So I had to find peace in the chaos because there was no other option.
Yeah. So when you hit that burnout moment, was it, one day that it just hit you? Did you have friends and family that said, like, Carrie, like, give it a minute? Like, you know, what kind of was your realization, your aha moment of, okay, I need to take a step back or this is not gonna...
So my pattern was really a fight or flight pattern. It was like a bubble. We just caught on fire instantly, and I ran as fast as I could. And then finally, I want to say it was the end of 2012, I started seeing a personal shift. The weight was coming on, my thyroid had burnt out, my adrenal gland burnt out, I didn't have any money, I couldn't afford to go to the meetings because I didn't have money for gas. Yeah. There were days where I questioned how I was going to eat because I didn't have money for food. And so my intimate friends knew what I was going through. I literally had women dropping off groceries at my house. I had women depositing checks into my bank account so that I could, live.
Yeah.
And little by little, people were like, it's okay to take a part-time job. It's okay to do something else.
Yeah.
And then I had women saying, you've got to keep fighting. This is your baby. And that was actually the last straw for me. Having a mom come to me and say, thank you for doing this for my daughter. And I hope you understand, I hope you understand what I'm going through, or you can understand what I'm going through because you're an entrepreneur. Wow. And so when women started talking about my business as a child, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This isn't a child. This is a business.
Right.
And there's a huge difference between the two.
Right.
So that was my last straw. So when that happened, it was May of 2013.
Okay.
And we couldn't afford to pay our insurance bill. It was like $3,500, and we just couldn't afford it. And I gratefully was nominated for an award called Characters Unite with USA Network, which meant that we were gaining $5,000 and national exposure.
Yeah.
So I did the photo shoot. We got the paycheck. It could have gone to me or it could have gone to the nonprofit, and it had to go to the nonprofit because there was no other way we could pay the bill. So I took a $1,200 paycheck, which was the biggest amount I had been paid in 3 years. And I called my dad and I said, I can't do this anymore. I need a break.
Yeah.
So I accepted like a round trip ticket to my hometown in Wisconsin. And I spent like 6 weeks away from everybody and everything. And I accepted my burnout over the course of those 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you ended that 6 weeks, did you feel like refreshed, or were you like, I am going to take a different path? Like what,
Refreshed? No, not at all. It took me like a full year and a half. I just started feeling refreshed at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
I had clear direction on how to get out of it.
Okay.
And determination that I could get out of it.
Yeah.
But refreshed, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I still had breakdowns. I still had like major arguments with God about how this happened, and we still faced financial struggle. But after the 6 weeks, and I mean, I was ready to quit.
Yeah.
I called my CPA and I said, I can't do this anymore. Help me walk me through how I fold this. And she's like, I'm not letting you quit. She hung up on me a couple of times, but so I went back to the board of directors in August of 2013, and I said, the only way this is going to survive is if I survive, and I can't survive this way. So I come first.
Yes.
You pay me first. I'm part of the program, and we need to flip our business model. And at that point, we created a train-the-trainer program. And the only way Seavers and Sisters honestly thrived 2014 and 2015 is because I got to a point where I could no longer physically go forward, and I had to surrender to everything. And I just had to eliminate myself from the middle and figure out a way to move forward without me, forcing it.
Yeah. And it seems to be that it only grew from there. Like when you surrendered and allowed other people in, that you're just one person, you can't do it alone, and having friends in your life, women, your CPA saying like, I'm not gonna let you do this, like it only just there was strength found there, and it seemed to kind of get new life into it.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Major trust at that point, and there's so much head trash that goes on with entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking to women entrepreneurs specifically, because there was so much shame, there was so much guilt, there was so much embarrassment. I kept on fighting because I was so afraid of what people would think of me if I didn't fight through this.
Yeah.
And those were the biggest obstacles to try to get over. And then there comes the financial piece. So there's a ton of emotional stuff that has to happen as you recover from burnout. But but I rallied my troops and my support team, and I really called in my superheroes, and I was like, I need help at this point, and it's not been the same since. I'm much happier.
Yeah. And was that hard, like really hard to kind of admit, that, like,
yeah.
that, you can't, because
I didn't talk about it for so I started talking about burnout in October of 2014, and I took my break in July of 2013.
Yeah.
And when I decided to talk about it, I decided to talk about it as big as I could, so I didn't have to talk about it, to groups. So I wrote my first blog for Huffington Post. It's called "I'm a Recovering Burnout."
Yes, and I'll link to that.
I fixed it, and they're like, "That's brilliant." And I had people from around the world emailing me, "Thank you for putting a name to this."
Well, I think people don't, when I read your article for the first time, it hit with me, relating to my dad's story. And, I think a lot of, what he had was, a burnout of sorts, and I think people can just be in that chaos and not even recognize, what's going on because, it's just all happening, around. So people really
be able to see your way out.
Yeah. So,
and I'm able to recognize it in other people now. And I do I've developed some exercises myself.
Tell us about that.
My own website, CarrieSeverson.com, and I've developed some exercises that I'm actually putting up there and launching soon to help other people kind of relate to it and understand how to move through it. I'm writing a manuscript on it and my experience, and putting exercises in there. So I feel like part of my mission in life is really, I've become who I said I wanted to become for younger girls, and I created Severson Sisters for them, and I experienced burnout because of it, and now I've got this new opportunity to teach the millennial women who are getting burnt out at a younger age,
right?
How to avoid some of those pitfalls.
And I think, it's interesting how I think God kind of lines things up, that your nonprofit, a lot of the truths you speak to middle school girls still apply to us as women, in the work world or with our relationships and friends. Like, it doesn't go away, but we can...
constantly work on
it. Right. It's a process. Are there things, like, as an entrepreneur, because you're in the business world, you have, a heart for self-discovery too, like finding that, because they're very different worlds, and on a day-to-day basis, like, what are, maybe some practices that you're able to kind of, steer clear, or know that, a burnout, if I continue on this, a burnout could happen. Like, are there certain rituals you do?
For sure. One of them is really understanding the difference between what my ego wants and what my heart wants.
Yeah.
And I think we face burnout a lot of times because we're residing in our ego, and we are afraid to show, the raw emotion, and we're afraid to ask for help, and we carry on the shame and the guilt of, and we consider ourselves failures because we're in this space.
Yeah.
And so my biggest practice, like every day, is really learning how to be in this space of leaning back and allowing my life to unfold the way God intended it to unfold, and still taking action without controlling it.
Yeah.
So I've had this amount of work on learning how to detach from the end result and allow it to unfold the way it's supposed to. And that's a very unique dance with life, and it's taken me a long time to get, but if you can figure out how to find that balance in that space of allowing life to unfold without the attachment to the end result, you'll be out of your ego and in your heart, and life will be much better that way.
Yeah.
That's my...
No, I think that's great because, okay, so, like, speaking to, millennials, or girls younger than us who may be in transition, it may look something like entrepreneurship. My life is going towards a different, path, and, I think people I'm going to transition. I'm trying to see where, let's see. Can you see me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. And so like, what's the best, piece of advice that you have for people that, when they hear the word burnout, it seems so distant. It seems like something that, happens to, the man in the boardroom with 3 cell phones and stuff. They're not seeing it as something that could happen. What are, what's your best piece of advice?
To recognizing burnout or how to recover from it?
I mean, a little bit of both, but I guess just recognize it or giving it, not something to be fear, but just something to be aware of. Because I think, a lot of people, like you said, people said, thanks for putting a name to it. A lot of people think that they're not at risk for it. They don't see how there is so much chaos. There is so much unsettledness. If they're not, at the point of like for self-discovery and in touch with like a spiritual side.
Yeah. Well, one of the, I'm, with a girlfriend right now who is facing some tremendous difficulties with her business, and I find myself touching base with her pretty often throughout the day, saying like, where are you at? Where's your head at? How are you feeling? What do you think about this? Giving her space to talk. And then I'll say, okay, take a deep breath. And I'm like, bigger, bigger, bigger. Just like allow yourself that space to breathe. I think what happened for me was I couldn't take a deep breath. I couldn't get it past my chest bone.
Yeah.
I couldn't push it down because there was so much that had to come out.
Right.
Emotionally, the weight, physically, mentally, I was never allowing myself that space and that peace to be.
Yeah.
I was preventing every, emotion to really run its course and allow me space. So my first recommendation is, if you feel like you are suffocating in life, and however you're able to identify with that, I would recommend finding somebody that you trust, that you can have a sounding board with. Someone that understands your issues and can just listen to you from time to time when you can't take that deep breath.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my biggest piece of advice for recovering from it is space. When we're in that turmoil and you can't see your way out, carve out 20 minutes without distractions to find your center. And the more you tap into that center, the easier it is to A, find it throughout the chaos, and B, you're able to let things slide a little bit more, and you start to crave that peace.
Yeah.
And things start to shift on their own.
Yeah, yeah. And so your priorities, naturally, you'll see, really the benefits and just the light that comes in, from that. Okay. One more thing before we wrap up. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. This is throwing back, but when you talked about it in the beginning, the bullying thing a little bit, I was not aware of how big bullying had become, in this world, that we're in now with the online. And, this is a lot off topic than what we were discussing before, but I have friends who have children. Some of our listeners have children that are in middle school, in high school, and I'm learning just from conversations with them, that it's really, it's not fake, it's not just, trumped up on TV, so does your website or something for someone who's not in an area where your organization is in schools, are there things that people can access,
Yeah, so our program is run through a workbook series
called
Supergirl Guide. And you can go to any bookstore or, Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com and purchase our material. And you can buy them for, girls who can do it at home.
Okay.
And then we have tips on our website, SeabursonSisters.org, for parents, tips for girls. But my biggest piece of advice are really the workbooks, because it's 108 pages of fun, creative activities and questions to help a girl really understand her unique identity, and then tips and tools for her to understand how to constantly practice self-respect and give respect, and then understanding how to react in cyberbullying situations or face-to-face bullying scenarios.
Okay, great. Well, that's good to know. I'll link to that too, so people can know how to access the workbook. And I love that, just to wrap it up, how, what you're teaching in middle school, and then to where you are in life now, that you're encouraging others, helping others, and there is strength, like in, helping others along with our stories. And I think that's great that you're using your journey to, spread the love and get other people.
I figure, we're all kind of in this together, and so I think the purpose in life is to leave the planet a bit better, and if I can do that by helping somebody connect to their superpower, then I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thank you, Carrie. And I will give, the listeners, all the links that we talked about. And if you could just tell everybody your website again.
Yep. SeabursonSisters.org.
Okay. And isn't it like if you donate $25, you can support a girl for like a whole semester or something?
It's $100 for one girl for one semester. The $25 is just her workbook.
Okay.
It takes $25. We purchase one workbook for one girl to use, and then $100 provides her with the creative activities.
That's great. Okay, so $100 and you can make Oh, you're welcome. But so that's neat. I mean, $100 you can, seriously impact, someone's.
It's 30 hours of empowerment, so it's a lot.
That is so great, and it's totally like investing in, our future and our girl power, our
girl
woman power.
Thanks, girl.
Thank you. Bye, Karen.